our special project, a journey into the heart of the Caucasus to rediscover forgotten ethnic groups and bring their stories to a wider international audience. Today, we begin with one of the most resilient and misunderstood peoples of this ancient land, the Circassians. For thousands of years, nestled in the rugged valleys of the northwestern Caucasus, lived a people who called themselves Adige, a name that means the noble people. Known more broadly as the Circassians, they were divided into two main groups: the Western or Lower Circassians, who known as Adige, and Eastern or Upper Circassians, known as the Kabardians. Their ancestral homeland stretched from the shores of the Black Sea eastward toward the lands of Chechnya and Dagestan, bordered to the north by modern Ukraine and the Crimean Peninsula. This mountainous refuge was both their cradle and their battlefield. For millennia, the Adige endured wave after wave of invaders sweeping down from the northern steppes: Scythians, Sarmatians, Mongols, Russians, and yet they hold on. Skilled in war, fiercely independent, they defended their land with unmatched resilience. But the 19th century brought a tragedy from which they would never fully recover. By the 1860s, after decades of brutal war with the Russian Empire, their resistance was crushed. What followed was one of the most devastating episodes in their history: a massive expulsion and genocide. Nearly 90% of the Adige population was either killed or forced into exile. Their villages were burned, their lands seized. The survivors were scattered across the Ottoman Empire, modern-day Turkey, Syria, Jordan, and Iraq, where many of their descendants live to this day. In the Russian Federation, only a small fragment of the once mighty Adige nation remains. Those who stayed behind mostly live in rural areas where traces of traditional life persist. Their economy is rooted in the land herding cattle, sheep, goats, and horses, cultivating grains and fruits, and living off the mountains through seasonal hunting. Meals are simple but hearty: bread, milk, cheese, broth, vegetables, and occasionally meat served with a signature spicy nut sauce. Their homes, once spaced far apart along river valleys, were built with care and meaning. A traditional long rectangular house of twigs and mud stood behind a large tree planted at its entrance, symbolizing the strength and continuity of the family. Around the main house, one could find gardens, livestock pens, and smaller homes for the sons and their growing families, all surrounded by a protective stockade. Today, in the lowland villages, these old compounds have given way to standardized brick houses with garden plots, reflecting a more modern yet still rural way of life. In cities like Maikop, Armavir, Nalchik, and Krasnodar, urbanized Adige families now live and work, and cultural institutions preserve their heritage. But outside the cities, the extended family remains the backbone of Adige society, sometimes stretching across 4 or 5 generations under one roof. Adige clans traced their lineage back to a single male ancestor, and they carried this heritage proudly in their family names. Marriages today are based on love or mutual respect, often occurring later in life, around the early 30s. While the wife handles most domestic affairs, the husband retains authority in serious family matters. In the past, a man was never seen without his dagger, an emblem of pride, honor, and a constant reminder of the blood feuds that shaped so much of Adige life. Weapons are sacred, and folklore, rich with epic tales of warriors and heroes, laid the groundwork for a vibrant tradition of poetry and literature that still thrives. Spiritually, the Adige are complex. Christianity first reached the mountain valleys between the 6th to 12th centuries, but by the 17th century, Islam began to take root, brought by trade and alliance with the Ottoman Empire. Today, most Adige are Sunni Muslims, yet deep within their songs, customs, and oral stories lie echoes of older beliefs, ancient pagan symbols, and remnants of Eastern Orthodox rituals that still shimmer beneath the surface. Land grants and repatriation programs aim to bring the scattered Adige back home. Some have returned. Others still dream of the day when their people, torn apart by war and exile, will once again live together beneath the mountains of their ancestors. Their villages may have changed, their gods may have faded, but the spirit of the Circassians lives on in their songs, in their dances, and in their unshaken pride. Thank you for joining us on this journey through time. If you find this video enjoyable, please like, subscribe, and leave comments. See you in the next episode.